Hey everybody, Drew here, and today I'm going to talk to you guys about the door lock actuator on a 2001 to 2005 Toyota RAV4. So this is a pretty miserable job, even if you're familiar with what's going on and how these things are made. The biggest thing is this. There is that yellow clip. I'm going to show you guys that in more detail as we get through the job. But in most Toyotas, if you flip that yellow clip, if you were to get right in here and pop it this way, like snap it up, this rod should slide out and you leave all the door handle mechanism behind. I'm going to show you guys why in really close detail. Basically, it's a barbed rod in a barbed yellow plastic grommet, and it only goes in, it never comes out kind of thing. You'll break it trying. So the door latch or the door handle rod here, it's not coming out of this yellow thing. So typically the way these work, this just slides into here. The rod would slide into this hole here, and this yellow thing would clip down onto it and hold it from sliding out. But if you look, the end of the rod, if I can clean it off a little for you, the end of the rod is barbed, and so is this yellow grommet clip thing, whatever you want to call it. So the easiest way to do this is actually to take out the whole door handle mechanism. So I'm going to show you guys basically the gist of it. So on the door panel, real quick, I'll show you on the other side. So the handle, you see that little notch in the bottom there? The silver part, in my case, the trim of that handle pops out, and there's a screw there and a screw there. Of course, like every other Toyota, there's that little screw cover inside the door handle. It's very difficult to get out the window switch and door lock panel. You might not be able to because it's a really strong spring clip that holds it in. You don't want to break it. And of course, the perimeter of the door is all little push clips. The other thing I wanted to show you guys is this trim that would go over the this assembly here, the door handle assembly. There's a little notch there and a little notch on the bottom, and all you do is you get your pry tool in between. Here, I'll show you guys. Pardon the mess, by the way, has not been a fun job. So it's like this, right? You get your pry tool in here and in here, in between, and this will come right off. But the gist of it is there is a 10 millimeter here, 10 millimeter here, 10 millimeter here that holds in the majority of the latch assembly. There's a Torx 30 here, here, here that hold in the door latch assembly. There's a 10 millimeter here that holds in the window track. And there's a plastic cover inside here. You pop it out, and there is a Torx 30 inside there that holds the lock assembly on. To get that off, lift the door handle, and basically more or less, kind of, you got to pry against the door handle a little bit. It pops out first this side, and then the whole thing slides out and kind of toward you like this, if that makes sense. There is one of those little spring things that goes on a rod inside of there as well, but this one works the way it should. Once you snap that off the rod, the bar comes out of that hole, and this comes out the way it should. Of course, obviously not in the order I just told you. But the thing that's going to save you guys a really, really, really miserable time is just taking out the door handle assembly too. It's one more Torx 30. To get the door handle off, very simply, it's got to be pulled out a little bit. It comes, you're going to wiggle it, and it goes like that. So these little triangular bumps here ride in here. Get it back in very simply. You got to have the hook in first on that side. So yeah, that's kind of like halfway in there, and then it just snaps in. So if you take that off, and then you remove that Torx 30 screw, you take off that whole assembly and bring it with the latching mechanism. It's kind of weird how everything's routed in here. The window actually passes in between the electronic part of the mechanism and some of the linkage. So, you'll figure it out. Obviously, this is clipped in here, and you've got to take the handle itself off. But the big thing is, don't mess with that yellow clip. That will absolutely break if you manage to get that rod off. There's plastic parts you're going to have to pay to replace. Okay, continuing with this crazy design, there's 3 screws, 1, 2, 3, that hold the actual lock mechanism the actual power mechanism into the latch and lock assembly. There's no way to get to this third screw without, you know, who knows, you'd be here all day. This obviously is not going to, you know, compromise the function of this at all. I just drilled a hole there. It's about a 1/2 inch hole. You can see on the back here where the screw is. Just simply on the other side, drill the hole and you could get to it. Sorry that this video isn't absolutely step-by-step. It kind of assumes that you could handle this job. It just tells you the surprises. I didn't want you guys to have to learn yourself, okay? If this video is at all helpful, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Thank you.